Welcome home, horror fans. My name's Adam.
And I'm Zoe, and these are the 10 best horror movie kills of 2024 so far.
It's been a huge year for horror films, and we thought we'd sit down and recount our favourite kills so far of 2024. There's a lot to get through, so let's go straight to number 10.
At number 10, we have the unexpected car ride from The First Omen.
Hello, talk to me.
For them all.
In this scene, we see Paolo walking back into a street and all of a sudden getting smashed front on from a car. And this isn't the big part of the kill. We then see Sister Margaret lift him away from the wall before realizing there's only half of him left.
Very interesting, not as bloody as you would have hoped for, but for a big name studio that released this film, you kind of expect that.
Yeah, I think also The First Omen did have some really great scenes in which there were pretty some shock moments. But this one, we do love the fact, of course, that you sort of got that wide shot showing the half body that she's holding there is the really big shock factor at the end. So
Absolutely, and the girl who plays Margaret, her performance is awesome, helps to elevate this scene so much. So what more could you want, really?
Exactly, a phenomenal moment. That brings us to number 9.
At number 9, we have Sunlight is Served from Abigail.
That was fucking... Whoa.
Abigail was kind of like a little surprise, fun horror hit, really, out of nowhere.
Absolutely, the complete opposite from the kill we had previously. This one had an amazing amount of blood and gore. Sammy, unfortunately, is killed by her friend, Joey, when Joey has the bright idea, do you see what I did there? The bright idea to use a serving tray and gain the reflection of sunlight, which then hits Sammy and makes her explode into a bloody mess.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really was a lot of fun. When we first saw it in the cinema, you got to say we did perk up. It's like, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
It was really cool. I think Sammy's a great character as well. So seeing her turn into a vampire and have her little dance routine and number and get to kill someone herself was also really cool moments. So good job, Catherine Newton, and good job, Melissa Barrera, for giving us this kill.
Yeah, this film had a great cast, and this particular kill or moment was definitely one of the most memorable for us. So we easily put it in this list, and that brings us number 8.
At number 8, we have Down the Ladder from Tarot.
Now, this film was notoriously a terrible film.
Yeah, we heard very, very bad things about this film and just had to see it for ourselves, and it is as bad as people say.
Yeah, it's a garbage movie. Everybody knows it. But at the end of the day, there were some decent kills, and we did pull out this particular one that you may have heard of, in which one of the characters kind of gets brutally murdered by a ladder.
Yeah, which is interesting, because I think that when this scene opened, I pictured 100% Final Destination 2, ladders going through the eyes or the face or somehow. Instead, the High Priestess uses the ladder to brutally beat Elise to death, and it is, look, you don't see a whole lot, but because the kill is quite unique, it is interesting.
Yeah,
it's a cool to watch.
It's well shot, I will say, and I do like the really quick jump scare at the top of the ladder that makes her fall to the ground. I think that was executed really well. The monster in this scene looks fantastic as well, and the actress actually pulls off the death pretty well too.
Pulls off the death, but doesn't pull off any of the dialogue before the death. Like, she doesn't do a very good job, but the death itself, like, I think is pretty good. I don't think she really screams or reacts too much in it, so that kind of helps.
I think in this movie, Tarot, you're probably expecting too much if you think anybody's giving a good performance here. Let's not worry about that side of it. But look, some decent kills here. The horror movie itself, maybe not that great. Maybe just skip the movie and just watch the kill scenes. But enough about that crappy movie anyway. We're going to move on to number 7.
At number 7, we have Bath Time from Sting.
Sting was actually quite a fun movie, surprisingly.
Massive surprise. We've actually seen Sting twice now.
Yes, a few times.
And we really enjoyed it. I think the second time that we went and saw it, I was like, oh, I really can't be bothered watching this movie again. But again, I was delighted by it. I think that everyone's character is really, really well put together. And Maria, who we're speaking about in this scene, is actually a great character as well. There's a lot of depth to her, which is all the more shocking when she does meet her demise.
That's right. Maria in this scene, she's one of the earlier kills in the film, and she probably, she does. She gets the best kill in the movie, really.
Absolutely.
Sting is still of a smaller size, a more realistic spider size at the point in this film. If you don't know, Sting is about a alien spider, and he eventually grows massively. But in this scene, he is pretty much normal size. We get a really nice jump scare, which jumps onto her out of nowhere when she's not quite expecting it.
It bites her face.
Bites her face
Maria
nicely.
Checks herself out in the mirror and realizes, oh, I'm not looking too pretty. And then she falls.
The fall is the big moment.
The fall is the big moment. So she faints when she sees the way her face is swollen up. Yeah. And she falls and she hits her head. And the sound it makes when her head cracks on the bathtub is, you won't forget it.
That's right.
It's very loud.
The sound design really killed it here.
Absolutely. And then just to make matters even worse, Sting then crawls down her throat and then rips its way out of her stomach.
Slices her open from the inside out.
Yeah.
This was a really great scene. And I think that Sting had some pretty cool kills in it. It had a lot of laughs too, a very funny movie.
A lot of laughs, yeah.
But this kill definitely is the one that you'll sit there and go, it's the best one. Easily.
For sure. Without a doubt. I think it's the kill as well that there's a lot of attention to. It goes on for a little bit. I think it's the longest kill that we see in this movie.
Yeah, quite possibly.
There's a few kills that happen really quickly that is like, yeah, well, that's cool, but you're not really spending much time to build the suspense of this kill or build the kill up in general, where I think Maria's kill actually gets... it kind of steals the spotlight.
It does, for sure. And I kind of almost wish that Sting had more kills like this, in all honesty. Sure. I feel like watching this one, I was getting ready for more stuff. I was really getting ready to see more at this caliber.
Yep.
And I think that this really, they almost jumped the shark with this kill. It was the best, and it kind of never got as good for the rest of the movie, unfortunately. Yeah. But that being said, if you haven't seen Sting, and you're in for just like a nice popcorn horror film,
definitely worth the watch.
Yeah, we can suggest this one. That brings us to number 6.
At number 6, we have Oh Bother from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Oh, bother.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Definitely one of your favorite horror releases this year, for sure.
I cannot stress enough how much I hate the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey franchise. I wish nothing but death upon this franchise. And let's talk about our favorite kill. It is when Winnie the Pooh dies.
Yes.
And why is that, Adam?
We love this kill because it means the movie was finally over.
Look, all that aside, Winnie the Pooh takes an axe to the face by Christopher Robin. It's great to see. But for reasons that you guys might not expect, it is because the film is finally at an end.
That's right. Look, the scene is good because we do finally see Winnie the Pooh, which is the horror version of Winnie the Pooh, finally say the words "Oh bother," which is,
which is cool.
It's cool. It's funny. It's it's almost like something you'd put on a wish list, and they actually did in the film. So a little bit of fan service there. Christopher Robin, of course, played horribly by the actor in this. Let's not go into that. Does get an axe and take it to Winnie the Pooh's face. So a great moment, not just a great kill, but like something you really want to see in this film because, God, it is awful. Sorry for people who like this movie, but we hated it.
There can't be many of them.
Well, look, we'll see. Write in the comments if you like this movie. It was terrible. Disclaimer, we didn't even pay to see it. We got an early review copy from the studio. Sorry, that studio that sent us that movie. It was terrible.
They have to know.
They have to know. Look, everybody knows. This is a cash grab film. It's a cash grab film that's just trying to make gory, horror kills for
and
the fun
as much as I'd love to shit on the Pooniverse, this is not what this video is about.
Poo on the Pooniverse, you mean?
Poo on the Pooniverse. Anyways, let's move on to the next kill.
Let's not bash it forever. We're just going to move straight on. Oh, bother. Great kill. Terrible movie. What have we got at number 5?
At number 5, we have Revenge from Love Lies Bleeding.
Shut the fuck
Love Lies Bleeding was actually a really fantastic film.
Yeah, for sure.
Really fantastic film. There's a lot of themes. We don't want to spoil the movie too much. You'll probably spoil it enough just by watching this clip, because this is definitely one of the best scenes in the entire film.
Oh, for sure.
What do we see? What do we see?
We see JJ, who is played by Dave Franco, who is just a terrible, terrible person, for reasons we won't get into due to spoilers. But JJ is killed in brutal fashion by Jackie, our main character of the movie.
Yeah, JJ is just hanging out at home, not expecting anything in the dark, just standing around, and out of nowhere, Jackie comes flying in, just absolutely brutally punches him. Really great takedown. You know, you can see that she's this physical force.
He gets dropped in 2 seconds. And just to rub salt in the wound, Jackie picks up JJ's head and smashes it repeatedly into the coffee table.
Yes.
What I liked so much about this is the sound design, but the fact that the whole time this scene is playing out, we see it from Jackie's face. So you're not actually seeing JJ until the end of the scene. But Jackie, you kind of just see her and you see how angry she is while she's beating this guy's head to a pulp.
Yeah, it plays through her rage the entire time.
Absolutely.
The scene is really impactful too, because it's the first time we really see her unleash this rage. It's a film that's about basically her being a bodybuilder and being a very physical, powerful force, and we finally get to see that unleashed in this scene. And of course, the cherry on top of this scene is not just the way it goes down sort of very abruptly, but then we finally do eventually see the aftermath of Dave Franco's face.
And just imagine that it is exactly what you would think a face would look like after being brutally pushed into a coffee table.
Yes, the unveiling of his face is really the moment you go, oh, geez, he got it bad. It's one of the most out there shots of anyone's face after being smashed around.
It really couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, though.
Yes. Yeah, it was a beautiful piece of sort of, let's say, revenge that happened. And a really great scene. We really loved it, and we loved the film. If you haven't seen Love Lies Bleeding, it was a smaller film.
Absolutely worth checking out.
Definitely worth checking out, which brings us to number 4.
At number 4, we have Cutting Wood from Lisa Frankenstein.
Speaking of smaller releases, Lisa Frankenstein was probably the most underrated horror film so far this year.
I cannot believe that this film did not pick up more traction. This has got to be in top 3 horror movies of the year for me, without a doubt. I freaking loved this film so much. And this scene in particular happens towards the end of the film, where Lisa finally gets the motivation and courage to go to her crush's house and unfortunately finds her sister Taffy in bed with her crush.
And what unfolds next is really quite out there. We see the creature, as he's known in this film, the man himself who's raised from the dead, cut the penis off
of Michael.
Of Michael.
Yeah, it's a very interesting scene. It's very funny. It's definitely played out to be one of the more comedical scenes. But we see the penis fly across the room in a shadow, which is quite funny. Yeah. The scene is awesome. The movie's great. We definitely recommend it.
That's right. This scene is a lot of fun. The just the way it's shot as well, with just the shock face of the guy while he's getting his penis cut off.
Slow motion as well, and I definitely think that adds to the comedical value.
Absolutely,
of the scene.
And being that it was also one of our favorite horror movies so far this year, we put it up definitely towards the top of the list as well. So a lot of fun, and a lot of you guys probably haven't seen it, so we're glad to bring this one to your attention. Which leads us with the top 3.
The final 3 kills.
These are our top 3 kills of the year so far in 2024, starting with a really big one at number 3. What have we got?
At number 3, we have the climax from Late Night with the Devil.
Let's go, Leo! The power of Christ compels you.
Now, this film was absolutely phenomenal. We absolutely love this one.
And at number 3, we have a triple whammy for you, because there are 3 deaths in this scene.
Yeah, so the climax of this movie, we do get 3 of the main characters dying, and it's one after the other in one big finale, really beautifully well done. Of course, this is a film that spent a long time building up to this moment. We do see Lily, who's possessed with a demon, let's say, have her head split open, and then some crazy shit happens.
Yeah, some crazy shit happens. So the first one we see die is Gus, who is kind of the assistant host to Jack Delroy the entire film, like the kind of the band lead, the comedic relief, as you would say. And Gus gets his head snapped all the way backwards.
Yeah, a la Exorcist almost. His head spins completely around and then falls through the coffee table, and it looks fantastic.
And it happens so quick. It's just snapped, falls through the coffee table, and then we have June, which is taken up by her necklace, hanging from sort of above everyone, and that necklace cuts right into her throat, and she bleeds over everyone.
It's very well done. The effects here, when her head's split open and her neck sort of just slices open and it bleeds everywhere, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's very well done. And not to be outdone, of course, then we have finally the skeptic who has just not believed anything that's happened all night long, all of a sudden realized that it's all real as he gets set aflame.
Yeah, Carmichael gets burned from the inside out.
He becomes the Human Torch.
The Human Torch. And honestly, rightfully so, because he was a non-believer the entire time, and Lily was pretty convincing. It was pretty clear that something was not quite right with her, but he would like to think otherwise. And look where it ended up getting him.
That's right. And that was the kill we were looking forward to the entire movie. For those who haven't seen it, go out and see this film. It's fantastic. We did get to see it in the cinema, and it was phenomenal. But if you missed it at the cinema, it's on Shudder, I believe, now. Definitely go and watch it. It is one of the best movies of the year. Even bar horror movies, it's just one of the best movies of the year. Really a lot of fun.
Honestly, if you hadn't have seen it, you probably shouldn't have watched this segment, because we kind of just spoiled the whole ending for you.
This whole video is spoilers, so don't worry about that.
I suppose it is all spoilers. But Late Night with the Devil is fantastic. Jack Delroy takes that role and just runs with it. He is fantastic. David Dastmalchian, we love you so much, and we can't wait to see you in more.
Yes, we absolutely love David Dastmalchian, especially after this film. He just really killed it. Jack Delroy, you'll feel when you watch this movie, is a real person.
You kind of just want more. You're like, okay, I want to see another Jack Delroy show.
They can give us a prequel, I think. You know, why not? But yes, fantastic moment, fantastic film. Really easy to put up, really sort of on the high points. And you know, for these last couple of kills, we're in the top 3 now. It was actually kind of hard for us to pick our very top. We love this film so much, and this moment we had to at least have it in the top 3, which brings us to number 2.
At number 2, we have Yoga Time from Inner Violent Nature.
I was wondering when you were finally going to show.
This is a kill which you guys all would have probably guessed is going to be here somewhere.
Yep.
The most famous kill, I probably want to say, so far this year.
Definitely the kill that went viral. Yeah. I'm sure everyone has an opinion on this kill. I know that I've seen a lot of people compare this to the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2, which I think is very, very generous, because I definitely wouldn't go that far. The kill is very unique, let's say that. So it sees Charlotte, who's just out trying to enjoy some yoga, when she is greeted by our killer, Johnny, who makes a mess of her, that's for sure.
He gets involved in the yoga.
He does.
He sees her hanging out. She goes for a quick moment, tries to escape. Very oddly, she comes to a cliff? She comes to the edge of a cliff and decides not to go left or right, which she could have very easily done, but instead decides to stand and stare at our killer Johnny and just not move. Now, we will say that the kill is obviously at a number 2 spot, and we enjoy the kill because it's very inventive. A lot of people watch it and think, wow, this just really goes and goes and really goes somewhere where you didn't quite expect. But we will say as well, in the meantime, it's probably one of the most unrealistic kills on the list as well.
Oh, definitely. Look, let's talk about where this kill begins, because we do see Johnny put his entire fist through Charlotte's torso. He then pulls his hand out, stabs a hook through her head, then pulls her head back through the hole that he's made in her guts. I don't know. The whole kill is even hard to explain. But all the while this is happening, Charlotte is stood the entire time.
She stands still the entire time.
At no point does she fall over. I don't know if Johnny is just holding her up with his fist through her stomach or what the go is.
No.
Because physics, it just doesn't make sense.
Yes, and that's the only problem with this kill. You really have to suspend your disbelief because when you watch her, she would have died from the first time he put that hand through her stomach for sure, but she manages to stand up still the entire time and just stare at him as if she's perfectly fine while she's getting it through the stomach, through the head. She never like falls and collapses once. So it's a little over the top. But of course, I guess you've got to make some,
Look, it can
sometimes.
be absolutely applauded for its practical effects, for its
Yes.
uniqueness, for the neck snap, like all of it. There are so many layers to this kill that make it so unique and so fun to watch.
That's right.
But that doesn't give away from the fact that the kill doesn't make a lot of sense, and it is very senseless.
Yeah.
Still fun though.
Still fun though. It's definitely one of the most memorable, viral, over-the-top, inventive kills, certainly from this year, and also really kind of like amongst history, because it's got to be a first. You watch somebody get their head pulled through their own stomach. So definitely one that's going to be talked about for a long while, I guess. And yeah, who cares? You know, at the end of the day, physics be damned.
This is horror we're talking about.
We're talking
here.
about horror. Let's talk about some inventive kills and some fun ways to go them down.
Absolutely.
And certainly when you see her neck sort of bend back and everything, and you see the bony parts sticking out of the skin, you're like, oh, geez, okay,
it's an interesting kill. And look, there's a lot of amazing kills in A Violent Nature, but how could we not add this one being the absolute viralness of it and how many people it's affected? So,
that's right. I probably should have called this spot in A Viral Nature. Because this is really the kill that made this film a household name.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, now brings us to the top spot, to number one. If you haven't guessed it, here's your chance to write down in the comments.
I don't know if they will guess it.
Some people probably will guess it, I think. This may not necessarily have stood out to a lot of people. I don't think this film was seen by everybody, but definitely write in the comments if we've missed anything or what your guess for number one is. I think a lot of people probably would have guessed Violent Nature might have been number one.
Yeah, I would have thought so as well.
What is number one? Let's put them out of their misery.
At number one, we have Goodbye Baby from Immaculate.
Now, Immaculate. This scene is definitely one of the biggest and most memorable scenes, not just in horror, but in all the film for 2024, because we did not see it coming, I'm going to say, first of all.
I was glad it came.
I think everybody was happy when it happened. But we were sitting in the theater, having an average time with the movie. It's not bad. It's not amazing. You know, we gave it 3 stars.
Nothing mind-blowing.
But then this scene comes at the very end of the movie. So as with all of these, spoiler warning, this film ends with Sydney Sweeney's character giving birth and then lifting up a giant rock and killing her baby. And I can't even explain to you what it's like sitting in that theater for the first time with a group of people who have sort of sat and watched a pretty average horror movie, but then this scene happens and everyone's all in the same agreement looking at each other going, is she about to kill that baby with that rock? And then she does, and everyone just loses it in the cinema.
It's funny because there were so many mixed opinions. Like me, I'm laughing. There's people behind me going, oh, well, that's just ruined the whole film. It's Immaculate Conception of Jesus Christ. What did you think she was going to do? Raise this kid? Raise this baby? I mean, no, thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear she looks at it in a way where it's kind of like, ugh, that kid don't look right.
I think actually I think it was actually possibly born. We don't see the baby at all, but from hearing the noise from the baby, it did sound maybe like that baby was a bit wrong. Something had come out a bit wrong. To put this into context, she did not want any part of this. She was actually
there was no consent given.
No consent, held against her will. This immaculate was not really that immaculate, but she was actually sort of impregnated in a certain way by the church, and she had tried many times to get away and avoid this. It wasn't until the very end where she was sort of forced to go through with it all. So this is why it happens. It is a crazy scene. It is shocking when it happens.
A great ending to an average film.
Yes,
sure.
it definitely lifts the level of the movie a lot when you see it, and just executed really well. The baby I'm talking about, not the film. Anyway, that was our number one spot. How can you not pick such an insane moment? And we're only halfway through the year. There's still a lot more to come.
Plenty more to come. We've got Longlegs. We've got Maxine. Some of the biggest horror films of the year are yet to arrive.
Yet to come. Yes, it's been a huge year. And I think with the way cinema is at the moment, horror is definitely doing really well in the space. It's one of the most profitable and better performing genres at the moment.
For sure.
Very excited to see what we have in the next 6 months coming. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time, guys.
Game over.